Hey everyone, on today's episode of Hubris Syndrome, it's GOTYs with the Allies, the finale. Greetings, Damiani. Good to see you hanging out in your office there.
Yeah, got the office nice and clean. Did some, rearrangements and stuff, so...
Those flowers
are
are pretty.
Slob anymore. Yeah, some freshly picked flowers every morning.
Nice clean
That's
coffee
nice.
pot back there too. I like it.
Yeah, I've been drinking. I had my fresh brew this morning, so cleaned it out.
Damiani, in the year that never ends, 2020, I like to say at least we've got some pretty awesome video games along the way. What has been your standout pick, your GOTY so far, or some of your favorites?
Whew. So yeah, apologies to every single video game that has come out or will still come out in 2020.
Oh, down the line, we'll do a culmination episode.
No. I'm saying actually, the point I'm gonna make is it's probably not gonna matter. I mean, we have two games coming out today. We're recording this. We got Paper Mario, The Origami King. We got Ghost of Tsushima coming out, and who knows what we got coming out in the end of the year with the next gen consoles and Halo Infinite. I mean, those might all be fantastic games, but unfortunately, the seed was planted many years ago for this game that I'm about to talk about. And I know it's going to come out a lot. I know there are people who are going to be sick about hearing this, but you just can't do anything about it. I'm sorry. So Final Fantasy VII Remake,
Boom!
The game, expectations, anticipation, build-up, and a whatever year it could have, could have come out the year that Breath of the Wild 2 is going to come out and would annihilate Breath of the Wild 2 probably.
Whoa!
In terms of grabbing attention and everything. In fact, I think if it wasn't right on the start of COVID where people were having to lock down and stuff and there were delays in shipments, I think if it had a normal launch in a normal time, I think there would have been even a bigger frenzy around it. I think it actually got a little bit tempered, where something like Animal Crossing thrived because of the longevity, whereas the build-up, that initial burst, which I think was waiting for Final Fantasy Remake, it was still really big, but I think it got held back a little bit by that. But the game, man, it's just... There's so much talk, Huber.
Yeah.
There was so much talk that there was absolutely no way this game could live up to expectation. Like a Half-Life 3. People were just like, it can't. There's just no way. You have built this game up too much in your minds that there are going to be so many things that just fall short because it is not what the original was. And while there are definitely people who complained about it, there are definitely people who found faults in it, I think... From my perspective, it's safe to say, in a lot of ways, it not only met expectations. I was like, they can't possibly be doing these things as well. How is this consistently doing things like this? I'm just surprised by how they pretty much, in my mind, nailed most of it.
What are you most surprised about? Because this showed up on my GOTYs and Brad's. You are now the third ally to say Final Fantasy VII Remake. What was the most surprising element to you?
So, I want to say the battle system because going from turn-based to... It's very... The reason this is a controversial thing is because they took a turn-based system and a lot of the things around it were very rooted in that turn-based system and brought it to a real-time action system, but still preserved some of the turn-based feel with the slowdown mechanic, letting you the strategic mechanic to let you buy time to make a decision, and you still could toggle between different characters in real time. That was the biggest concern. Sorry, not controversy. The biggest concern going into here because. Look back at previous Square Enix games. I know there are people out there that love Final Fantasy 15. I think that was don't think that was the greatest battle system. It was definitely a step in the right direction. I thought it was pretty rough.
Quick shout out to Warp Strike in 15, though.
It's a cool concept, but I mean, it's also apparently a holdover for one of the things that Nomura was so intent on doing in an open world environment was warp striking any spot, and the technology just was not there. So I mean, it was ambitious. I'll give it. It was ambitious and stuff, but the problem was it wasn't fully realized, and it's an okay battle system, but it's not fantastic. There's so many other real-time action systems out there. I would prefer to play with Final Fantasy 15. So I was worried when this is all being developed internally by Square Enix, not bringing in like Platinum or some other character action or action game masters to help assist with that. I mean, initially they did have CyberConnect too, helping with the game. So I was like, okay, maybe they are leaning on them, but then they got removed from the project, and I was like, uh-oh, what's going on here? But the battle system being as good as it is, there's definitely room for improvement. But I think the passion I've seen from people like me and others who are just coming up with a list of things like quality of life stuff. It's not like the root system is fundamentally awesome. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's just that, and like people are like, we want you to push harder. There's things you can do to make this even better. It's because of how much I think it has. There's so many places for it to go and get even better, but on its own, just so good, Huber.
What was your favorite weapon and favorite boss?
Dude, so one of my favorite things to do in Huber was when first time I got the baseball bat weapon. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
It has like the ability to do like crits and stuff when you charge it up.
Yeah.
It was right before I did the mini game with the breaking the boxes stuff, like the Kingdom Hearts thing. I'm forgetting all the names here, by the way. I'm really sorry.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Like, the challenge thing, and I remember I was streaming this, and chat's like, dude, if you do it with the baseball bat, that's like equivalent to like the hard mode of it, because it's just like really hard. I'm like, yo, batter up, let's go. It was just so fun to see Cloud wielding a baseball bat.
Seriously.
I mean, because these weapons are all existed before, but seeing them put into practical use because they had to create unique animations for a lot of these, it's just really cool to see.
Yeah.
And I had a blast with that. So that was like a highlight for me, was seeing that and using it in a different way. And sorry, what was the other part of it besides weapons?
Favorite boss fight.
Okay. Oof. They're conceptually the oh my god, you did this was the Hell House.
Yes,
it wasn't
baby.
My favorite.
Yes,
wasn't my favorite. Okay. It was like, I cannot believe you are doing this. We are really sitting down and doing this right now.
Oh, I love it.
You brought
so
this
much.
fight into as a boss battle, not even a remedial battle, a boss battle, and we are doing this. I was like, all right.
The announcer, dude, in the background is so epic.
I think maybe so it might be a tie. Airbuster, the Airbuster battle, because I like the whole thing about you think you have to do these decision makings leading up to it to influence what attacks can be disabled or reduced in potency. But it's more the music. It's the cinematic nature and music of that, especially because like the part where like the kind of like the choir part kicks in. I was just like, I paused and I'm like,
it's overwhelmed.
They keep making the music better. But I think I'm gonna give it to, for like ultimate stakes. It was, and like ultimate feels was the Casanova fight. Yes. Because like the tentacle, the franticness of it, and it kept escalating and getting more intense on my first playthrough. I was just like, ooh, and then like the final phase when it like gives you the proper Casanova theme, like we're letting it all loose now, like everything's come together, and you are gonna enjoy this. And I was just like,
Hojo, yes, you son of a bitch. Awesome.
Hojo's part was the worst part of the game. The Hojo's lab was not fun. I will say that.
Let us defy destiny together. Cloud, there's still so much to be done.
The one, the only Don Casanova. Greetings.
Hello, Huber. How's it going?
It's going good. There's been a lot of good games this year, 2020 so far. What has been your personal favorite / game of the year?
There have been some masterpieces, there have been some massive games, but I want to call a little attention to this game that I discovered a couple months ago, and it put its spell on me. Hunt Down, Huber. Small indie game. I think this could be a contender for indie GOTY of the year, perhaps.
Don, my favorite thing is when you boot up this game, Hunt Down. Don, yes, you recently brought this game to the Hall of Greats, talking about one of the greats, talking about game of the year, what is it that speaks to you so much about this game? Why do you love it so much?
It's just everything it does so well. You know, it's a retro style game, but it's not a retro style game that's like calling attention constantly to its retro stylings, right? It just does what it does perfectly. Is, you know, the mechanics are there. The atmosphere is the first thing I have to call out. The art style, just the world, the environment is such a wonderful landscape to be in. And it's a dark, post-apocalyptic sort of landscape, but it's just the amount of detail in it and the amount of attention to detail and the soundscape you hear and just so much about the atmosphere of it. I just love the mood they create.
The mood is absolutely incredible in this game for sure. The vibe, the like little bit of story you get, obviously too, before each chapter and each boss, a little bit of context. I love that. Don, because I know you love retro games, and I know you love side scrollers. Do you tend to love Metroidvania or more Contra style run and gun? What's kind of your favorite style of this type of game?
It kind of depends because I do love Metroidvania very much, but it's like sometimes requires a lot more for that to be successful, especially through the entirety of the game. I mean, the planning you need for a well laid out Metroidvania is very tough compared to just some of the cheap, fun thrills you can have with a simple side-scrolling run and gun. And that's why I think one of the things that stands out about Hunt Down to me so much is because it really is sort of like a simple side-scrolling run and gun shooter on the surface, but it's just executed so well. It's so fun to play. Every single weapon is fun to use. There's balance across every weapon. There's a really good challenge to it. And it's just the type of thing that really draws you in again and again, and it doesn't get old in the kind of way that a lot of those simple, straightforward side-scrolling shooters do, you know?
Yeah, I love getting in and having a boss payoff at the end of each level. Like, each level can be no more than 10 minutes. It's just always something new, always something exciting. I like to call it a cover-based Contra, because you're kind of running and gunning, but sometimes you really need to hide in there.
That's a great way to describe it. Yeah, I love hiding. You know, you have little background areas to hide in. You have foreground material you can hide behind. There's tons of destructible stuff within the environments and some really clever little places they hide the secrets and the stashes. Such a fun levels to explore.
What's been one of your favorite bosses so far? Any standout bosses for you, Don?
I really liked, I don't want to give away too much, but I really liked the sniper girl who's at the construction site.
Yes.
And you're way up on these giant high rises that are under construction, and she has the sniper rifle. She's one of the really fun ones.
Thanks so much, Don. Hunt Down, everybody. Don't skip it. Next up, Brandon Jones. How are you feeling, Brandon?
I'm feeling fantastic.
Excellent, because
about this year, about Hubert syndrome,
in
about
this exact moment.
Oh, just in general. Oh, yeah. I feel great. I feel really good. Yeah.
Because it is the year that never ends, 2020. But in this year, we still have had some amazing games. What are your highlights?
How's the year going so slow, and yet I still have no time to play games? How do those two things happen at the same time?
Good question.
It drives me crazy. Yeah, I got like 2.5. One's not really fair because I imagine if you have Ben Moore on here, he's going to want to talk about Half-Life Alyx. I haven't finished Alyx yet.
Yes, he has.
But I've played enough to get it, to be like, yeah. I could see if this ramps up, if this gets better than it's been, then this could seriously be a contender. And I love the idea of just like finally really competitively being able to bring a VR experience and being like, all of you, it's gonna be like a theme park ride. We're gonna get to the point where we're gonna be like, okay, Saturday and Sunday are the day, everybody come in, we'll guide you through it if you need help setting up the VR, but just every single ally is gonna play this game, no excuses, or at least like a commanding share of the 8 allies.
Jones, did you get that feeling immediately when you booted this game up, like within the first few minutes? Were you like, oh shit? This is real?
I wouldn't say first few minutes, but it's kind of like both Half-Life games where you hit that point where you're like, oh, okay. And it's fun. Like Valve is very dry. Like they're very dry with their humor and a lot of their gameplay elements. Like you kind of walk into these big action moments not anticipating it because everything's just kind of muted in a fun way. Like I like their sci-fi, I like their world. And so like it had, you know, just like the test going wrong in Half-Life and just like you teleporting in 2, like it just has this great, like now you're on an adventure immediately at the drop of a hat, you know, and like that's when it gets really, really exciting. And just the flick, just I want to grab that thing. It's
that's
really
awesome.
great. And a lot of VR games need that hook. They need that, I mean literally, but they need that thing that's really fun out of the gate that you're like, I'm just having fun doing this.
Ben was telling me about reloading the shotgun manually.
Haven't really gotten that far. I'm mostly still doing pistol stuff, which is tense, you know, like head crabs in VR.
When you get the shotgun, Jones, we'll need an update.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
My second, my absolute strongest contender that you're going to hear me, I'm not going to shut up about Dreams when we talk about GOTY, man.
Dreams,
I'm going to be,
yes!
And admittedly, I know a lot of people will be like, you haven't played Dreams lately, and like, you're totally 100% right. But before GOTY, like, I'm going back in, I'm, you know, just... You know, like, you know, a giant, you know, bowl of chili. I'm just diving in on that stuff and just gorging myself.
Yeah, because the canvas is just wide open. I mean, so many times the joke was like, oh, that game was just made in Dreams. Or like, oh yeah, Cyberpunk? Yeah, just make it in Dreams. Is it really like that, Jones?
I mean, people are sharing throughout the year just visually a lot of interesting performance things, and if there are rumors or confirmation that it's coming to PS5 or that's kind of dated before the end of the year, and they were really smart because it launched almost right at the beginning of 2020, and so like at the end, if we really look back at like, you know, 11 or 12 months worth of, you know, people just going nuts and building all sorts of crazy stuff. That in terms of like GOTY, actually looking at 2020 and being like, what was accomplished? What did we come out of in this year with a type of game that's just completely unusual? That like we you know, we don't play a lot of stuff like this. Just to think, it's like, again, it's like in 2020, you're like, you know, we're doing halfway, and it's like, no, wait, we're not halfway. Oh, damn. Like, you're right. And so you think about this game's got 6 months left to just do crazy stuff. And I told you this when we were playing it before, where it's like, you think how long it takes to make any sort of independent game, and a lot of these people are just making a couple of levels. And so I think from launch, there have been people that have just been, you know, digging into one particular project, and they're like, just give me a year, you know? And so like, you know, every month there's that possibility that someone's like, I'm done, you know, and they tap out, and then you're like, whoa, like you've been spending a lot of time. Yeah, a lot of things are just deceptively amazing. There's a SSX game that some dude's been building that every time I check, it's not there. Like he tweets video updates of it, and it looks amazing. I'm ready to play, and he's like, no, I'll publish it later. It's like, damn it, like, put up a demo. You know?
Jones, I am so bad at building things, whether it's in real life or in a video game, even like Dragon Quest Builders or The Sims. You know, my house in The Sims is just like 4 walls, couple rooms, that's
your apartment in college. You know?
Yeah, exactly. What would you tell people and me who might be intimidated by the prospect of diving into Dreams?
There's 2 great things that are, I think, key, because at the end of the day, you want to make it fun. Like, you want to explore in fun ways. Actually 3. The tutorials are really fun, and it's nice because you can only pick one particular thing. One thing I gravitated to immediately, because it's been a really difficult point, is just like designing a person is so damn hard. Like, to make anything look, and I'm not even talking like Skyrim levels, which is still kind of below par now. You know, it's just making something that's not completely horrifying and doesn't look like a total, you know, monster puppet is just like really, really tough. It's just a fascinating thing to just try and do and fail at. And what you can also do is just any, you know, level, you can just access it and just kind of blow the whole thing open and check out like what's in here, how does that work? And it's interesting seeing those lines. It's kind of creepy because, you know, I've always been obsessed with like theme parks and stuff, and you think of like Matterhorn with the light, or I'm sorry, like Space Mountain with the lights on, you know, it's like, it's creepy seeing something like, whenever I'd go to Chuck E. Cheese, I'd always like look under the curtain at like the robots that were like frozen with the guitars. So it's like you kind of go under the hood and you see the you know, the brain that's like operating some of these things, and it's kind of trippy. It'd be trippy to just like take a level of Last of Us Part 2 and just like look underneath it, you know, like not in a glitchy way, but like I'm actually controlling this environment. And so it's fun to just crack open some of the better levels that way.
At some point we should make monster puppets. That sounds cool.
And it's just so fast. Everything in the game is just so fast to access. And like,
has anybody made Disneyland, Jones?
Yeah, oh yeah. There's one specific guy who streams it, and like 10 people watch every time he streams. It might be more now, but I remember like checking. I'm like, this guy deserves way more of a following. And Animal Crossing, of course. But for GOTY Talk, I don't know. I'm gonna spend almost every day of this year playing Animal Crossing ever since it came out. But it's like, would I really fight for GOTY? I don't know. But I will do my research. I will do my research, and I will bring the big guns when we talk about dreams.
There's value in that, man. Playing something every single day, it's versus like something high quality. Obviously, The Last of Us Part 2 that you play through once. That's enough. Versus like, hey, the other side of the coin is playing a game every day.
It's the Hearthstone argument, and I was on Team Hearthstone, and that we're the villains that year.
It's a rough year. It's a rough year.
Yeah. I did a lot of arm twisting that year. It was truly a strange year. But yeah, it's an interesting argument. And just like Dreams, all the fun summer update, we're swimming now. There's just a lot of new stuff that's surprised they just drop on Animal Crossing. So before the end of the year, like, who the hell knows? Like Halloween and Animal Crossing? I can't. Ooh. Well, I'm more excited about that than Halo Infinite, at this stage of 2020.
Well, we have a few more months, Jones, a few more heavy hitters on the horizon. Does Miles Morales, is that going to be, that's coming out this year? Holy shit.
GOTY Talk, I mean, it might be nice, but GOTY. You get me excited, man. You get me pumped.
Thanks, Jones. And that's going to do it for the episode. Thank you so much for watching along this past month as I've given my GOTY picks so far, and the allies have joined me for their GOTY picks. We'll see you back here next week when we go over the games of August. See you then.